Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Friday. I am back. It's Daryl here. It's bright and freaking early, man. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. I gotta say this. If you just saw, I downloaded a video I did a couple of days ago about anxiety, and I don't know if it's me getting older. I don't know if it's because I'm having more success in my life and it makes me nervous. I don't know. But I just realized going on vacation this last week here that it took me a while to adjust into vacation mode. Like I missed doing my daily routine. It took me a while to get into the vacation state of mind. And now that I'm back, it's taken me a while to get back into my daily routine and out of the vacation state of mind. Like I said, I don't know if it's because I'm 58 years old, I'm getting older, or what it is. Okay, I came across an article today, and I'll have the link right down below. I'll actually have a link to Twitter. It's Donald Trump talking to some people on his golf course, and Barron Trump is sitting next to him in the golf cart. And as soon as I saw this a while ago, and it's been bothering me. It's been eating at me. Let me say this: Donald Trump. I'm sure this is no surprise to anybody, but Donald Trump is an embarrassment to me as an American citizen. I am embarrassed that he shares the same title of American citizen as I do. When people see him, and it's the way he looked in this golf cart, this slovenly, overweight, double, triple chin, hanging out of the golf cart with his love handles and his gut, and what he said about Joe Biden. Another thing came to mind. With everything that happened in the debate, and the possibility that Joe Biden may not be running, that Kamala Harris might be actually running, has added another level of anxiety into my life, and I'm sure it's added some anxiety into yours. Okay, so he's talking to somebody in the golf cart, Donald Trump, with his son Barron sitting next to him, and he calls the commander-in-chief, calls the sitting president a pile of crap. I hope I can say that without any kind of situation with my monetization. But, once again, I look at this, on so many levels. I think that, MAGA, Make America Great Again, that's what all the people that support him have this thing about, going back to the 50s or the 60s or whenever they went in their mind, Leave It to Beaver, whenever this supposed fictional perfect America existed. And if that's the case, say Leave It to Beaver. Could you picture Ward Cleaver, sitting next to his son, Wally or Beaver, and calling the next door neighbor a pile of crap? You know what I mean? And people complain nowadays about kids growing up, the younger generation, about how they have no respect for this or that, or no drive, or there's always been and there always will be complaints, intergenerational complaints. And look at this. Look at he is Barron's role model, and look at the role model that he's presenting for Barron. Calling the sitting president a pile of crap. It embarrasses me. It's an embarrassment to me. And I think about how this guy operates on such a level. Him and his supporters operate on such a level. I hate to say this, but there is such limited intelligence with Donald Trump and his supporters. They don't use cognitive abilities to think of the long-term implications of what they're saying and the proposed changes to the government, to 2025, whatever that project they're talking about. And it seems like Donald Trump and his supporters operate solely on a level of anger, hate, and ignorance. Really, and I'm not saying that just to be a jerk or anything. I mean, it doesn't seem like they have intelligence where they actually think through a situation. And I thought of something this morning. So he went on to talk about Kamala Harris. If I'm saying it wrong, you have to forgive me. I'm terrible with names. It's like it's some kind of impediment I have where I have a hard time with first names. If you've been watching my channel, I'm not doing that intentionally. So he says Kamala Harris is such a effing mess or something along those lines. So I start thinking about Donald Trump and his supporters, but they want this big, strong, I never realized how much his supporters are beta males. I know I talked about this before, but he is their alpha. The way, all of a sudden it was this epiphany I got. And I was like, oh my God, these guys, these male Trump supporters with the big trucks and the Trump flags, they are just the epitome of beta males, worshiping their supposed alpha. Okay, so they look at this guy as tough, and you see him sitting in this golf cart, never swung a hammer in his life, never gotten into any kind of fist fight in his life, never stood up for himself in his life, hanging out of the golf cart, triple neck, and they see him as a figure of strength, and I just, there's more to strength than just shooting your mouth off. Because really, that's all he has. That is all he has. He doesn't have physical strength. There's nothing to back up his bluster, physically. And if you're talking about the country, then we're talking about young kids going to war. That's his. So anybody can spew that kind of rhetoric off. That the United States will do this and that. He has no strength. It's all bluster and nonsense and hate and anger, and his supporters just eat this up. So he talked about Kamala Harris, and I started thinking about this, how she would make a good president, or Michelle Obama. And think about this for a second. I don't know if it's just me. My father died when I was 9, so I grew up with my mother and my sister. I was always taught, to have respect for women. I would never even dream of laying a finger on a woman. Whereas I've been well over 100 fistfights with guys in my life. But I have a whole different frame of mind, respect for women. And I thought about this. Whenever I've been in a car accident or in any kind of road argument, like I wouldn't call it like an argument on the road, where we almost hit each other or something like that. And the difference between when it happens and I'm dealing with a guy or I'm dealing with a woman, and I don't know if you guys are like this too, but if I'm dealing with a woman, I have the tendency to be so much less aggressive. It kind of slips under my radar, and I started thinking about that, because Donald Trump says in this interview, he says, well, how would he starts talking up Kim Jong-un and the leader of China as being tough guys, and how would Kamala Harris ever handle them? And she might be, a woman would have certain skills and pluses and abilities that guys don't have. When I meet another guy face to face, I've talked about this in videos before, I'm automatically on an aggressive level, just somewhat, as to who's the alpha. Am I taller? Am I stronger? Am I smarter than this guy? Am I better looking? And I'll be honest, whenever I go face to face with any other guy, that's what I'm thinking. But with women, I deal with them on a much lower level. My radar is down. And I'm thinking how much, with Kamala Harris, you don't have to have this bluster of calling people pieces of crap and all this other stuff like Donald Trump does with his big fat gut, and thinking that that's strength. A woman, a very intelligent woman like Kamala Harris could easily manipulate people like Vladimir Putin. They would underestimate her. Like I said, the way that I dealt with women, my radar is down. I wouldn't say much less aggressive. I am totally non-aggressive when it comes to dealing with women. Like I said, if there was a car accident, I am completely non-aggressive. I'd be more likely to apologize, even if it wasn't even my fault. That's growing up as a man and the way I was taught to respect women. That's just the way I am. And I just tend to give women passes, and that if an intelligent woman could use that, you have to use everything you have in your toolbox, everything in your ability. And I was thinking about Michelle Obama and Kamala Harris, how they would be underestimated by people like Vladimir Putin. They would not be seen as such an antagonistic enemy or aggressor as a male president would be. They'd slip under the radar, and I think they'd be much better at manipulating people like Vladimir Putin or the leader of China or North Korea, because using their, forgive me if this isn't politically correct to say, but using their feminine wiles to slip under the radar and get what they want. I know that might not be politically correct to say, but I think it would beat out any kind of false bravado or bluster from Donald Trump. Who are we kidding? He tended just to kiss butt of Vladimir Putin. He never talked. He never was aggressive with those guys. He was never aggressive with Kim Jong-un or the leader of North Korea, the leader of China, the leader of Russia. He said they were best friends. He kissed butt to these guys. So what would make people think that he would be good in dealing with our adversaries? I think Michelle Obama or Kamala Harris would be a million times better. And people like Vladimir Putin wouldn't even realize that they had lost the argument or the situation until it was too late. Women are very good at their abilities, at their what guys don't even realize. All right, I'll be back later with another video. The link will be down below. You guys have a good Friday.